Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and we're going to look at game number 6 in our 20 from the 70s series, the 1970s, and this game is a fixed screen, fixed track racing game in black and white, and it was the first in a long series, and it was called Sprint 2, and it's kind of strange that it's 2, but it's the first game in the series, and that's because it's two-player. One or two players, you can see by the two steering wheels. There's a steering wheel, there's a gas pedal, and there's a 4-gear shift for the controls for each player. But this game was created by a company called Kee Games, and it was long thought that they were a competitor to Atari, when in actuality they were like a subsidiary of Atari. They made games for Atari. And can't remember the name of the founder. It was like, what was his name? Joe Keenan headed Kee Games, and I'm guessing the key part of his name was Kee Games. There's your default track. You can actually choose different tracks before you start. And there's another track. There's a total of 12 different tracks you can choose. And we'll look at all of them. Each game in the Sprint series was, introduced something cool to your standard fixed screen, fixed track driving game. This one had 12 different tracks you could choose from, and if you just press start, you choose the first track that we saw, and each track has 2 oil slicks that you have to very carefully. Well, I think almost all the tracks have 2 oil slicks. That one just has 1. But anytime you run into the white rails, you stop, and you have to switch back into first and then to whatever gear you want to move to. You will not beat the game by... Or you will not, the goal is to pass a certain score, and the game will tell you what score you need to get to gain some extra time. You get 30 seconds of extra time. But let's have a look here at a little bit at the demo. But yeah, you are the white car, and if a second player plays, they are the black car. And there's 2 oil slicks in this track. If you hit the oil slick, you will skid. If you hit another car, you will skid. They will not skid. The controls, I'm sorry, I am beyond awful at this game, but that's because I do not have a steering wheel. Using just a joypad is really not going to get the job done. And like I said, you have a 4-gear shift, 4 gears. If you try to drive with just like the first couple gears, you have no chance whatsoever of making the required amount of points. And you just accrue your points as you drive without crashing. But you need to do the third, probably a combination of the 3rd and 4th gears to have success or have any chance at the extended play. And in this screen on this track, it says extended play for 250 points. Yeah, see, I just cannot control my friggin' car with a joypad. You really need the steering wheel. Yeah, see, even just touching that oil slick or any other frickin' car will cause you to skid out of control. But anytime you recover from a crash, shift into first. Whoa, see, that's way too fast. Shift into first, and then whatever gear you want. Maybe you can let off the gas here and there. You have no brake. Whoops, see, I'm just moving way too fast. I really should have let off the gas a lot more, but it's just too damn hard to drive on this game. You can actually drive through the white posts and and drive outside of the track. Whoa. And that will accrue you no points, unfortunately. So you really need to stick to driving inside the track. You get 99 seconds, or maybe it was 100 even, to try to meet your point criteria for extending play, and you get 30 seconds more. And the criteria, fucker, the criteria changes with depending on which track you chose. If the track is harder, you'll have to get less points to get your extended play. And you get a grade based on how many points you got. There's either Granny, Rookie, Pro, or I think Ace. And I'm definitely gonna get Granny. But again, it depends on which track you chose. That's gonna get you a different criteria needed. See, I got Granny. I'll play again. I'll do better this time, but I'll still get Rookie. For this track, even if you get the criteria for the extra play, 250 points, you could still just get Rookie. For this track, it's like 0 to 149 is Granny rating, 150 to 249 is Rookie, and then 350 to I don't know what is Pro, and then I don't know what you need to get Ace. But I'm pretty sure Ace was the best grade you could get. Shit. Stupid cars trying to make me skid, and they're very successful at that. Yeah, note that staying to one side, the top side of that one oil slick on the bottom is the way you want to go. You have less room to maneuver underneath it. And the other oil slick is much harder to get around, and therefore you really need to cut off your speed when going around those curves. Shit. Yeah, I am really not good at this game. But not having a steering wheel makes it all the more difficult. I remember this game being everywhere. And of all the sprint games, there was like Sprint 4, which was 4 players simultaneous and in color, or color overlay or something. And there was Sprint 8, in which you could race 8 players at once. And there was Sprint 1, and that came after Sprint 2, which again was the first in the series. But Sprint 1 was 1 player, but the tracks would change while you were driving. So all of a sudden the terrain, or the layout of the track is totally different as you're driving, and you have to react quickly, which was kind of a neat feature. All the Sprint games had neat features, and then later on there were full color versions of Sprint in the 80s. There was Super Sprint and Championship Sprint, and there was also a spin-off called Badlands. But I think we'll look one more time at what it looks like to get extended time. There, I got the extended play here. You asshole! See, this is a different track. And again, there's a total of 12 tracks. But yeah, this was created by a company called Kee Games, and it's really credited to Atari largely. Fair enough, because like I said, they were a subsidiary of Atari, and they'd make games for Atari. the founder of Kee Games, Joe Keenan, was a good friend of Nolan Bushnell, who co-founded Atari. So they were definitely not competitors of Atari. They were working for them. That was Sprint 2 by Kee Games and Atari in 1976. And there's a picture of Sprint 4. And see, there's a little bit of color overlay. And there's Sprint 8. And Sprint 1. And again, there's also Super Sprint and Championship Sprint in the 80s and Badlands in the 80s. And you could that was Sprint 2 by Kee Games and Atari in 1976, game number 6 in our 20 from the 1970s series. Well, this is Crazy Climber 80 saying thanks for watching Sprint 2 by Kee Games and Atari in 1976, game number 6 in our 20 from the 70s series. I'll be back soon with game number 7. See you then, folks. Bye-bye.